They say curiosity killed the cat, but I think it's suspicion that kills marriages. My wife, Nina, had been preparing for a work trip for days. It was a 3-day marketing conference in Lagos. At least, that's what she told me. She packed efficiently like she always did: heels, blazers, that small black travel-sized perfume she only wears when she wants to impress someone. She was in a rush that morning, juggling a coffee cup, her phone buzzing nonstop, and her suitcase. I was half awake on the couch, rubbing sleep from my eyes when she kissed me on the forehead and mumbled, "Wish me luck. I'll text you when I land." The door slammed behind her, and I went back to my bowl of cereal, barely aware of the moment everything started to fall apart. 10 minutes later, I noticed something. Her laptop bag still sitting at the corner of the dining table. At first, I grabbed it to take it to her, just being the helpful husband. I even smiled to myself, thinking how grateful she'd be when I showed up like some knight in shining armor. But the bag was heavier than usual. That's when I saw the zipper wasn't fully closed. And something poked out. I didn't mean to snoop. I swear I didn't. But when I opened the flap to zip it properly, my fingers brushed against something unusual: 2 airline tickets neatly folded in an envelope. Same flight, same time, same destination, but only one name on the itinerary was hers. The other? David I. That name wasn't familiar. Not a coworker I'd ever heard her mention. And it wasn't just the ticket, it was the way it was tucked in, like something meant to be forgotten but hidden at the same time. My stomach dropped. The kind of sinking feeling you get when your instincts speak louder than facts. I sat there, holding the envelope, staring at both names. Something didn't add up. And suddenly I knew. I wasn't dropping the bag off at her office anymore. I was heading to the airport. The drive to the airport was silent, just me and my thoughts, and they were loud. I kept asking myself, what if it's nothing? What if David I is just a colleague? What if I'm about to blow up my marriage over nothing but assumptions? But my gut wasn't buying it. I parked a good distance from the terminal and walked in through the side entrance. I kept my cap low and wore my mask, the kind of disguise only a husband in crisis would think is foolproof. Then I saw her, Nina, standing near gate 4, smiling, and not alone. Next to her stood a tall, clean-shaven man in a navy blue polo shirt. He had his hand on the small of her back like he belonged there. Like he always had. At first, I couldn't place his face. But then it hit me. David Ikechukwu, her ex. The one she swore was just a silly phase back in university. The one who cheated on her and broke her heart. The one I helped her get over when we started dating. He was supposed to be ancient history. A name in a cautionary tale. A scar that healed. But there he was, alive, confident, comfortable with her. I hid behind a large pillar and watched. She laughed at something he said. He handed her her coffee. They clinked their paper cups like they were toasting to something. Then it happened. She reached for his hand. He squeezed hers gently. And then, like a knife to my chest, she leaned in and kissed him. Not just a peck. Not some harmless goodbye kiss. It was slow. Familiar. Like they'd done it before. Like I was the stranger in their story. I stood there, frozen, surrounded by people who were smiling, boarding flights, living normal lives, and I felt like mine had just crash-landed without warning. I didn't confront her. I turned and walked out of the terminal before I did something I'd regret. I didn't cry at the airport. I didn't shout or cause a scene. I just walked out, got back into the car, and drove, not even sure where I was going at first. My hands were steady, but my chest felt like someone had carved out a hole and left it wide open. When I got home, I sat in the living room in the dark. No TV, no music, just the humming of the fridge in the kitchen and my thoughts playing over like a cruel movie reel. Every little moment came flooding back. That weekend she said she had a team retreat. I remembered how she came back with braids undone and hotel lotion in her bag. That random emergency meeting that popped up on a Saturday evening? She was glowing when she came back, and I thought it was just her career high. The times she was glued to her phone, smiling, claiming it was her funny female colleague from work. God, I was there the whole time. And I didn't see it. Or maybe I did. Maybe I just didn't want to believe that someone who once cried in my arms could lie through her teeth with the same mouth. I thought back to the man I saw at the airport. David. The way he held her hand like it belonged to him. Maybe it always had. My phone vibrated. It was her. Nina. Calling. I stared at it. Watched it buzz across the table like it was begging me to answer, to scream, to do something. But I didn't. I just let it ring. And ring. And ring. Because in that moment I wasn't ready to hear her voice. I wasn't ready for lies. I wasn't ready for tears that may or may not be real. I was trying to survive the sound of my world cracking. Quietly. 3 days. That's how long she was at the conference. 3 days of silence on my end. 3 days of her texting, "I miss you and can't wait to be home," while probably sharing a bed with her ex in some hotel with a rooftop view. When she finally walked through the door, suitcase rolling behind her and fake exhaustion painted on her face, I was sitting on the couch watching football, or at least pretending to. "Babe, I'm back," she called cheerfully like nothing had happened. "You didn't even pick up my calls. You okay?" I looked up, forced a tired smile. "Yeah, just been swamped." She walked over, leaned in to kiss me. I let her, and it took everything in me not to recoil. She smelled like cinnamon body wash, not her usual scent. New earrings. A new shade of lipstick. All these little signs she didn't even realize I noticed. But I played along. Smiled when she talked. Nodded when she complained about stressful panels and cold conference rooms. Inside, I was on fire. That night, while she slept beside me, peacefully like she wasn't living a lie, I got up and opened my folder. Literally. I had printed out the extra plane ticket from her bag. Screenshot the time-stamped kiss from the airport's public webcam feed. God bless airport livestream nerds. I had dug through our shared iPad synced unknowingly to her cloud and found texts. Sweet, mushy texts. Some explicit. All damning. There was even a saved photo of the two of them, sunglasses on, matching shirts. Captioned, "My peace." My peace, she called him. The same woman who used to call me her safe place. I packed everything neatly into a brown envelope. No screaming. No warning. Just facts. Plain, undeniable, dirty facts. The next morning, I brought her breakfast in bed. She looked surprised. "Wow. What's this for?" "Just missed you," I said. And I meant it in the way you miss someone who used to exist. That afternoon, I booked a table at her favorite restaurant. The same one I proposed at 3 years ago. It felt poetic. "I thought we could have dinner," I said casually. "Just us. No phones. Just talk." She smiled, completely unaware that this dinner would be her last as my wife. The restaurant smelled like rosemary and roasted lamb, her favorite dish. She smiled when we were seated, ran her hand across the crisp white tablecloth. "This brings back memories," she said, beaming. "Our first anniversary. Remember?" I nodded slowly. "Yeah, I remember." We ordered. Small talk filled the first few minutes. Her trip, my quiet weekend, how we should take a vacation soon. Then I pulled out the envelope, placed it gently on the table between us like a third guest. Her brows furrowed. "What's this?" "Open it." She hesitated, eyes searching mine, then peeled it open. First, the plane ticket, the one I found in her bag. Next, the photos, airport stills, the kiss, the hand-holding, the matching clothes. Finally, a printout of the texts. I watched her read them slowly. Her lips parted, her breath caught in her throat. She didn't speak for a long time, just stared. Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't blink them away. "Say something," I said calmly. She placed the papers down, hands trembling. "I didn't mean to fall back in love with him," she whispered. "It just happened." A beat of silence stretched between us like a wall. "You told me it was work," I said. "You lied to my face. Slept in my bed. Made me dinner. Texted him while I was in the shower." "I know," she croaked. I was confused. "And now?" She looked up at me, eyes red, lips quivering. "I still love you," she said. "But I love him too." Her voice cracked on the last word. My chest went hollow. She didn't even try to deny it. Didn't even bother to lie. I looked around the room. People laughing, forks clinking, candles flickering. And in that moment, I realized it really was a table for 3. Me, her, and the man she never stopped loving. The night after dinner, I packed. No yelling, no drama, just silence. The kind that echoes through the bones. I left the key on the kitchen counter beside a photo of us smiling in Rome before everything. Before the lies. I got a small place on the other side of town. Just me and the quiet. It hurt at first, the stillness, the empty bed, the absence of us. But there was peace in it too. I started therapy. At first, I only sat there, arms folded, eyes on the floor. But over time, I opened up. About the betrayal. The confusion. The nights I questioned my worth. And slowly, the pain untangled from my chest. I joined a gym. Started cooking again. Made new friends. Even really laughed for the first time in months. There were days I missed her. Then I'd remember the airport. The kiss. the silence at dinner. And I'd breathe easier knowing I chose peace over chaos. One afternoon, I got a message from an unknown number. "Can we talk?" I ignored it. A week later, she called. I let it ring. Then the voicemail came. "I'm pregnant and it might be yours." Just like that, the air thickened again. My peace trembled. But I didn't respond. Not yet, because this time, the decision would be mine. We met again at the hospital. Neutral ground. She looked tired. Not the same woman I had followed to the airport months ago. Her eyes carried regret. Mine carried resolve. We took the test. No shouting. No accusations. Just swabs, paperwork, and a waiting room filled with things unsaid. 3 days later, the results came in. The child wasn't mine. She cried. I didn't. I cried enough. We agreed to meet one last time. Her idea. Strangely poetic. The airport. Same terminal. Same gate. Gate 14. She stood where she once kissed him. This time, she didn't reach for my hand. "I'm sorry," she said, voice barely above a whisper. I nodded. "I know," I replied. No long speeches. No revenge. No hate. Just truth, cold, clean, and freeing. I turned, suitcase in hand, and walked away. Not to board a plane, but to reclaim myself. And as I passed gate 14, I smiled. The truth hurts, but it sets you free. And sometimes, freedom starts at gate 14. Don't forget to subscribe and tell us where you are watching from.